Hi, everyone. I'm Steve here again with David Wright. Thanks for being here, David.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
All right, so David is a personal trainer at Parkway Athletic Club in Carson City, Nevada. There's been a few Parkways added to the bunch, so that's where he is, even though the background says Fitness for 10 still. So if you guys have questions about nutrition, diet, working out, put them in the comments section and we'll get to them. If you like this stuff, subscribe to the channel. Um, David is in Carson City. If you want to know more about me, you can go to stevemain.com and see the health clubs that I own and so on. So today we're going to talk about this is a fascinating topic, and I think it'll surprise some people who aren't fitness oriented. So pass this video on to some people, and we're talking about the weight. If you want to make improvements in your fitness or your health, how much of it is nutrition and how much of it is exercise and your weight training? I'll go first. My opinion is for the average person, and everyone's different, depending on if you're sedentary and you do nothing, I would weight it even more towards the nutrition side of this. But I'm going to say 80% of the results you're going to get are going to come from a healthy diet. 80% or 20%, which is a big number, that's a big chunk of your results, is going to come from your exercise and your training. What are your thoughts on that, David?
Yeah, I would agree with that, and it's interesting because I've heard that before in terms of similar ideas, and it's interesting where you can't ever outwork a bad diet, and I really 100% agree with that. Even for somebody at a level like where I'm at as a physique competitor, so I work out pretty much 7 days a week unless my body tells me otherwise. But even with working out, cardio, and being a personal trainer, so I'm here in the gym, I'm on my feet a lot, like all those things. So I have a lot of exercise. But even with that being said, and that's a lot more than the majority of people, if I were to, let's say, I have a meal plan right now that I stick to pretty religiously, but if I started to go in and maybe make nutrition 50-50 with my workouts, let's say I worked out a lot but I didn't really focus on my nutrition a whole lot, that's going to mess up a lot of the progress that I've made, but also it's going to stop me from making further progress until I get that back in line. So for those folks who are not working out 7 days a week or 6 days a week, maybe you're working out 2 days a week, whatever the case might be, you can really make a huge dent in your actual health and your progress just by your food. So I'd say that's the most important part to get down first is the nutrition and meal aspect of everything. And then, stay active and everything like that and get maybe into a workout routine. But until you're able to really kind of control what you're eating and what type of food it is, those types of things, it's very important. I'd say 80% easy is in the kitchen, as they say, what we're putting in our bodies, for our health versus, making workout and exercise, a higher percentage of that. I think it's always going to stay pretty high because, like I said, you can wreck it really, really easy just by kind of veering off for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll give a couple examples. I'll use me first as an example. Um, I work out 5 days a week, and my diet is very clean. It's very strict. It's not perfect, but if you watch a channel, people know I'm in my 60s. I feel great, and that's a combination of both the exercise. We don't want to discount the exercise for sure, because 25% of your results, you take that off, you took a big chunk of your results off. But I would say this: I could double my exercise. And I know from my experience doing this for 50 years, almost 50 years, I could really mess up my health in a month if I changed my diet. If I drank alcohol every night, if I started eating processed foods, and this is if I doubled my exercise. If I started eating processed foods and junk and putting junk in my diet, um, I would mess up my health in a month. I know I could do it. Now, that's not my goal, but that's what would happen. That's how important your diet is. And someone like you, and even me, I'm trying to maintain muscle. You're trying to build muscle. You got to get your protein up. If if you don't eat any protein, I don't care what you do in the gym. It's going to do nothing except for probably harm you because you're tearing down muscle and you're not giving your muscle anything to rebuild with. So, another example that I would give, a different example. If you're someone who is sedentary, you don't exercise at all, and you eat poorly, you watch movies late at night while you're eating ice cream and eating popcorn and chips and crackers, cookies. If you will just throw the exercise to the side, and this is kind of how you started, throw the exercise away at the beginning. Forget about it. If you just focus on your diet and you're really overweight, you're really unhealthy, you focus on what you put in your body, you will get phenomenal results because of your diet. If you get rid of all those bad things and you get your macros right, and yeah, you move a little bit, maybe you go for a 15-minute walk every day, you will get phenomenal results just by cleaning up your diet. I know this from personal experience and from talking to people and being in the business all my life. That's what will happen. So that's where you want to really focus. Now, I'm not saying don't exercise, don't join a gym. I mean, we want people to join gyms because we're in the business. We want people to get personal trainers. But if your nutrition is not right, you know, you're flushing most of that exercise, depending on how bad your diet is. You could be flushing all that exercise down the toilet if your diet is really bad.
Yeah, and to that point, Steve, in terms of, I just want to clarify too that in no way are we saying anything like you shouldn't exercise and that's the only thing is focusing on food and never exercising. Of course not, but it's really important to have number one to get the most out of the exercises that you are doing and everything else is to get that food in line because otherwise you're not going to necessarily see the changes. Number one, that you would like to see that you're working toward and you know whether it's your time your money both that you're putting into yourself to improve whether it's muscle mass or fat loss both um, whatever that goal is you're not going to see it or at least not very quickly maybe not at all depending on how far off your meals are but you're going to want to invest that dedication in yourself too to really being focused on what you're eating because once you have that down and you're eating well and you're having enough nutrients like for myself I've even since I've been a competitor for 10 years and a lot of times what people do myself included is after I go on stage do my thing as a physique competitor well what do oh you know what the show's done I can eat whatever I want type of a thing. Now, not going to go crazy, but if you don't get kind of right back on that meal plan, basically as if you never stopped and you just continue, what happens is, and I've done this in personal experience where I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it easy a little bit for a while. Body fat gets a lot faster. And for me, being 260 pounds before, I regained body fat very, very easily. So, you start eating junk food and all these other things because you can, right? And so you're getting body fat back. You're having fatigue. You're not as motivated to go to the gym to begin with because you're eating these foods that make you tired and unmotivated. And so it kind of messes up everything. So even somebody who was at the level that I was at when that would happen, I'd still get the same things as you or anybody else where I'm going to be demotivated and I'm going to be tired and I'm going to get a little bit lazier, and I'm going to not want to go to the gym. So if you've got a gym membership, or even if you don't, and you like to just go do outdoor activities and that kind of stuff, or you want to start doing that to improve your health. Well, the other part is you've got to improve your internal health by what you're eating. So that way, when you do this exercise, you can feel better, you can look better, you can move better, which is huge. And you can't really do any of that. Like you said, Steve, you could spend double the time in the gym and it wouldn't matter. And that's true. I could spend 4 hours in the gym 7 days a week, and it's not going to matter a single thing otherwise, or I guess other than, my joints and muscles will be not thanking me for that. But if I'm eating garbage food, and that's my whole diet is garbage food, it won't matter how much I work out. As a matter of fact, I'll get injured most likely because I won't have energy, and my muscles and everything will not be in tip top shape for sure. So it's just really important to make sure that you do prioritize your health by kind of getting that nutrition down first, and continuing your workout, or more intensifying your workout once you have that down, so you can be sure you have that backup. That's what you need for that energy and for your health, is to have that food there, and the exercise comes with it.
Yeah, and you made a really good point, and that is you don't want to neglect exercise. We're not saying that, because 20-25% of your results come from the resistance training or exercise. That's a lot. And just to kind of make a quick note on that, you can have your protein perfect, nice and high, getting all the branched chain aminos and the essential amino acids and everything in the perfect ratio. If you're not getting resistance from some type of training on your muscles, they are not going to grow. You are not going to put 1 pound of muscle on if you don't overload the muscles, even if your protein's perfect. Don't you agree with that? I mean, you're not going to get any growth if you're just eating perfectly and sitting on the couch.
Correct. Yep, that's one of the things. I've got my diet all in check. Fantastic. But I don't do anything. I, have a sedentary job, which a lot of people do. I'm doing a scenario here. Sedentary job. Get home. What do? I go sit on the couch and maybe walk around here and there, but that's about it. No real exercise. But my diet's perfect. Okay, so maybe you won't necessarily gain weight, but you might, because you're not doing any activity. So even if you're eating all the right things that are healthy for you, you're also not expending very many calories. So therefore, you might be like, I'm eating perfect and I'm gaining weight, gaining body fat, my joints hurt, my muscles hurt, whatever the case might be. And you're like, forget it. I'm going to go back to that other junk diet I was on. I felt, that little high there for a minute when I had that sugar or whatever those other things were. So you've got to incorporate the exercise. So Steve and I are both talking about it's not about not having exercise. It's about making sure your diet is on point, but also then making sure you're doing that exercise. Because without one or the other, it's going to be really difficult for you to see, different results you're looking for. If you don't have the right food in place, you're not going to see the results in the gym. And if you're working out in the gym and you're not eating, again, you don't have those things. If you're eating junk, you're in the gym, you're not seeing those results. So they work together. 20% is going to be the gym, or Pilates, or yoga, or whatever you're doing, whatever kind of resistance training and hit cardio, or whatever you're doing. You need to have the other piece in place in order to, number one, continue that exercise routine, to have the energy, but also to actually feel better and be healthy. So they work together. Just make sure you have both. But you gotta have that exercise in there too.
Yeah, exercise is very, very important, and it's going to help your body be metabolically healthier. Mm-hmm. That's huge. That's going to combat all kinds of sicknesses. And when you put on lean tissue, lean body mass, you're going to be more metabolically healthy. You're going to burn more calories. Your body's going to work more efficient. So we're not saying discount the exercise. It's very, very important. And it's a huge part in making your body healthy. So, David, if people want to follow you on social media, find out what you're doing, how do they do that?
They can find me on Instagram at davidwright_fitness, and then also at Wright Fitness Training on Instagram for my personal training page.
All right. Again, if you guys have questions, put them in the comment section or thoughts or whatever. We love hearing that. Subscribe to the channel. And David, we will see you next time.
Thanks, Steve.